Hi, my name is Fred Stokes. I'm a member of the USO Board of Governors, the Senior Vice President of Pro Sales and Services at Lowe's Home Improvement, and a proud veteran. I would like to personally welcome you to Transition to the Trades, presented by the USO and Generation T, powered by Lowe's Military. Lowe's and the USO have a 10-plus year history together focused on supporting the military community, honoring our veterans, and assisting causes like workforce development and affordable housing. We are incredibly excited to bring these virtual workshops to all USO centers worldwide. Today, you will hear from industry professionals about making a transition from the military life to potential lucrative careers in the skills trades. Specifically, careers in the construction trades, electrical, HVAC, plumbing, appliance repair, and more. By 2028, there will be over 3 million unfilled jobs in the skilled trades. Good paying careers for entrepreneurs looking for stability and work-life balance. Today, for every 5 tradespeople that leave the skilled trades, only 1 person is waiting to fill that opening. This is called a labor crisis in the construction industry, driving up production costs and extending the amount of time to build new homes and provide services like air conditioning repair. Recognizing these issues, Lowe's created Generation T in 2018 to help revitalize the skilled trades and creating career opportunities for people like you. Generation T is a collaboration of over 80 national partners working to influence how Americans view skilled trades careers. Providing education about potential careers and information and connections to training programs and local businesses looking to train up-and-coming professionals. Our hope is to provide you with information and opportunities to help make the transition a little bit easier. We hope that you enjoy the following program and find the information helpful. From all of us at Lowe's, congratulations on taking the first step and best of luck to you as you move forward in your journey.
All right. Thank you, Fred, and thank you all for tuning in from all over the world to learn more about technology and how it is evolving the skilled trades. My name is Lauren Norman, and I'm from our Pro Customer Engagement team here in Charlotte, North Carolina. We are excited to bring this session to you through our Generation T partnership with the USO and Front Door. I am confident you will enjoy getting to meet Brett Worthington, who will share more with you about his unique background and the innovative services his company provides that are tech-enabled and people-driven. Technology is very much at the center of our industry, and as Fred just mentioned, our country urgently needs the next generation of carpenters, electricians, plumbers, and HVAC technicians to build and maintain our aging infrastructure. Lack of investments in education and training in the skilled trades over the last 30 years have created a labor shortage, driven by an exit of baby boomer retirees. Over 32% of our current pros in the US are planning to retire in the next 7 to 10 years, and only 14% of high schools today offer a trade education program. That leaves a lack of awareness of rewarding skilled trade careers and business opportunities among students and their parents. And in fact, American pop culture has negatively portrayed the trade with stereotypes and stigmas in TV shows and movies. The supply of new talent entering our workforce does not equal industry demand and will leave over 3 million jobs open. All of us saw how essential jobs were in the skilled trades to our economy as we went through the pandemic, and they continue to be in constant demand and critical to ensuring we have running water, electricity, and of course, all of the modern luxuries like heat and air conditioning that you can control from your phone. So as you think about what is next for you and your family, the possibilities are endless in the trades, including leadership roles and the opportunity to potentially run your own business someday. Our next slide will show you that you have already begun the transition to the trades through your military experience and service. You have obtained extensive technical training and years of hands-on experience. You know what it takes to work on a team and be an effective communicator. You have proven your dedication to your country and serving others. You can work well under pressure and solve a variety of critical, life-threatening problems. And you have also demonstrated a strong work ethic and drive to succeed. So before we begin our exciting fireside chat with Mike and Brett, we invite you to sit back and watch a short video that highlights the future of the trades and how technology is shaping our future with innovative solutions every day to master the art of your trade. We are Generation T.
They said our capes didn't shoulder enough class to be heroes. They said we were the butt of the joke because we didn't attend their Ivies. But they forgot to mention debt is not the prereq to living the dream. You don't have to lean on a desk when you have the drive to design your own league. By design, these hands summon creativity. Technology and trade, two converging paths, Mother Earth and Mother Board, shaping the terrain for the next generation. We are the rightful journeymen, the waymakers. When the banks crash and the stocks fall, we set the bearings straight. Scrape our knees on sunbeams, hold families together within the framework of our mind, turn businesses into our business. With the vision that keeps the lights on, we build a better world out of thin air. This is the what if for the future masters of trade. The electricians and bricklayers, solar power technicians, energy auditors, tiny home builders for the ones who don't care about the color of a collar. Craftsmanship is a calling. What if the naysayers were so worried about making it in society, they forgot to value the hands that make the society? What if you could live the life you've always dreamed right from where you are? Your career choice isn't a matter of right or wrong. It's a matter of knowing what you can do. There's work to be done. Are you ready?
All right. Good evening for everybody on the West Coast. Good afternoon for all of our individuals that are towards the West Coast. I see we got JBLM, Waco, Texas. And then good morning, South Korea, because I saw we had somebody from South Korea. So we'll go ahead and go through the gamut real quick here and say, welcome, everybody. Super excited to have you here for this Talks of the Trades on technology. So really cool to see that we're from across the world today, which is really cool. And Danielle, if you don't mind, we'd love to see those results. If you can pop those up for me too, so I can see those, because I want to see what we got going on from who's here. So we got 67% service members. We got some military spouses out there, a few veterans. Fantastic. And then of course, how close are we to retirement? All right, we got about 42%. It's now. Like, I go out tomorrow. I'm out. I'll see you later. I'm coming to the civilian world. We got a bunch, about 33%. That's about 6 months to a year. It's going to sneak up on you really quick. You might want to watch out. And then we got the super planners, which I always love my super planners. A year plus. Good to see that you're here learning about technology and the skilled trades. All right, and we'll look towards looks like, wow, we got 15 plus years winning us out here. So awesome, fantastic. Let's see, what about, all right, cool. So E5 and above. I was an E4 guy, so I got out as an E4. So E5 and above, I can deal with that. I got a few officers. All right, cool. So we know who we're talking to tonight. Really cool, great to see a vast variety of individuals out here. But I want to bring in, and I see he turned his camera on, one of our dear friends here, Brett, and we're going to go ahead and kick this off. Brett, what's going on? How you doing tonight?
Hey, Mike. Nice to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, absolutely. Super excited to have you. When we first met, I didn't realize, but you and I have a very close, similar path in our crazy transitions that we went through, which I thought was absolutely kind of hilarious. But it's actually, if you really think about it, a lot of military veterans kind of do the poli-sci type thing in college and kind of move their ways over. So just let's kick it off, man. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Give me a little bit about your military service and then how you kind of transitioned after active duty.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. So again, I'm Brett Worthington. I'm Senior Vice President at Front Door. And, I would be remiss not to say how honored I am to be with you all here tonight. I have a true passion for veterans, whether that's transitioning or veterans in general, and spend a lot of time outside of work and what we call front door bringing the good. And it's really important to me that we give back to our community of veterans and helping them along career path or anything else that they may be struggling with. And so that's near and dear to my heart. And so I'm honored to be here with you tonight. Tell you a little bit about me. I've prior to Front Door, I served as vice president of global business development for Samsung. So shout out to Korea. I saw them in the chat. I also saw Wright Patterson. My brother is a retired 06 in the U.S. Air Force. I served for 10 years in the U.S. Army. I was an E6, so I got you for a few years there, Mike. But I stayed enlisted. At 18, I finished high school, and I was registered for college, and for me I felt a bigger calling, and I didn't have any previous military history in my family, and my brother and I joined pretty closely. He went the officer route. He's more of a gentleman than I am probably, but I enlisted at 18 and came home and told my mom and dad I enlisted, and was gone within 30 days. And it was I think a shock to my parents, but overall they understood, as I come from a family who is highly patriotic, loves this country, love everything about it and what we stand for as servicemen and women. And 18 years old, and walked into a front door at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, with long hair, and went through the same processes that we all did, right? As it was shaved off my head. As a transition perspective, I'm kind of unique, Mike, as we've talked about. I had two transitions. I was active duty. After active duty, I exited and went right into trying to get my education and leveraging the GI Bill and other assistance that the military provides. And I stayed in the reserves. And so I was in the reserves component for many years and really enjoyed that. But what's interesting about my transition is I was just so accustomed to being on it all the time with the military, having been an infantry guy and then combat engineer and some other specialties in my career. There was never a dull moment, and I loved that about being enlisted. I loved being, in the trenches with the guys, and I loved leading the troops. But I also was just so active that when I got into college, I loved learning and I loved education, but I wanted more. And so even though my school was technically paid for, I went into the trades, and, I learned how to frame houses and learned a lot about just building houses and residential side and more, and then moved into some light commercial stuff. But as I learned that trade, my entrepreneurial spirit just came out in the sense that I was like, wow, you know what? This is pretty lucrative for the guys I'm working for. What does this look like? And so I went and, got licensed and really took a step back in what I was doing from a labor perspective, and just built a small crew and started working on my own and built a small company around that. And so that's really what, drove me from an entrepreneur at a young age. And I was balancing a career, business I built, as well as, the education that I was looking to get. And that vocational background for me was really not just foundational, just like my military background, but it led me to pursuing, more. And that ability to earn money and raise a living, which was lucrative for me at that age, it allowed me to move over to Washington, D.C. and work at the White House from the money that I made in those vocational trades, which then rocketed my career into other areas with startup as well as other multinational companies. So, and then my second transition is really around, I was called back to active duty in 2005. And I had that unique experience of one of the few and the proud, I suppose, that was called back under presidential executive order, just given the two-front war that we were faced with Afghanistan and Iraq. And I served in Operation Iraqi Freedom 4 and 5. And with the 101st Airborne Division, felt it was appropriate to wear my gear. It still fits, Mike. Got my Dodger hat, even though they lost, but I felt the T-shirt was appropriate for this crew that we were talking to tonight. And, I was stationed at Fort Operating Base Merez. I was also one of the lucky few who was extended as we were pushing the surge on Baghdad and northern Iraq. And one of the happiest days of my life was bringing my team home, and to see them really transition was tough, mentally, physically, and a very different transition than what I experienced in kind of aging myself in the 90s. Is very different. And even my transition was different. Going back into a career that I left behind and a wife that I left at home and didn't see her for a very long time. That transition was way harder than the first. And it wasn't just getting back into a career. It was about me adjusting mentally and me adjusting back into what I just lived through with my buddies.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, two transitions. First off, I only did one, but let me tell you, it was not easy. So I don't even want to do two. Also, I don't want to do two when you had to go back, right? I'm actually really impressed because I don't think any of my stuff from when I started fits me anymore. So kudos to you, because that's highly impressive, because I know none of my stuff fits anymore. So great on you on that one. But so you're at Front Door now, like that's where you're at now. And what's interesting is I guarantee a lot of individuals on the call, they're like, Front Door who? They're wondering what Front Door is. They're wondering what that is. So tell us a little bit about business today for Front Door.
Yeah, Front Door is a $1.4 billion publicly traded company on the NASDAQ. Really consists of 6 consumer brands. Leading brand that may be familiar with the audience tonight is American Home Shield. And Front Door, we have over 2.2 million what we call members or customers, and we service them around home service plans. Really think about taking the hassle out of home ownership. What we do is we service, repair, and replace some of the major systems in the home. So if you think about HVAC, appliances, pool, spa, electrical, plumbing, a lot of the large trades that are not covered by traditional homeowners insurance, we really take the hassle out of owning a home, in the sense that we repair and replace with over, if you look at the service work orders that we do across the country in all 50 states, we service those members with 17,500 plus contracting firms. And that gives us about 65,000 technicians nationwide. And we do, if you look at our total service requests, we do about 4 million service requests a year. So we are in a lot of American homes every single day, really taking care of those critical systems that cool them or provide hot water to their families. And really in a time of need, a lot of homes today are, a lot of people don't understand some of the things that are going on there. But more importantly, we're protecting against failure, and even families that may be on a budget. How do they protect those types of failures? And so we're proud to, with our brand that's been in business for 50 years. And in those 50 years, we've done over 65 million service requests. And so we're very proud of that heritage as well.
Wow. Yeah. I think, obviously Lowe's and Front Door, a great partnership. And it's interesting, I'm not gonna lie, I learned a lot about Front Door when I first met you guys and started talking and doing some research. And of course, that was the brand that stuck on my mind, because of course, when I bought my house, guess what we got. I want to go ahead and just pause for a second and say, hey, to the crowd, that if you have any questions, make sure you drop them into the chat, because we'll be taking some questions here in a little bit from Brett. So if you have questions, please drop them in. We're going to talk a little bit about technology and kind of move away from what Brett does, but kind of talk about the technology aspects to it. So make sure you drop your questions into the chat. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what kind of questions you have. But Brett, let's go ahead and shift a little bit. Let's talk about technology, right? You have this major company, Front Door. Like, tell us how technology is shifting the way you guys serve consumers. Like, how do you serve the customer differently with technology?
Yeah, and if we take a step back, Mike, and we think about really how technology's changed all of our lives, right? If you think about probably in all of our pockets, this device here, our mobile phones, our expectations have really changed. And so, and the same expectations when you own a home, we have the bubble tracker as we look at for all of our packages, or we expect communication. And I think technology has really transformed even the way that the trades are approaching it. And a lot of the tools that have evolved because of these devices and because of cloud-based technology, and how can you service customers better. One of the things where technology has really provided a great customer experience and really meeting customers where they are is through a mobile device or through cloud-based technology. You can give a customer an alert. And so there are field service management platforms today that a lot of the trades and technicians are adopting because whether it's a mobile device or a tablet, they can understand the customer and the profile of the customer, what their problem is, think about how they dispatch that. And even with mapping technology, you can see where your contractor is, just like if you're getting an Uber or a Lyft and ride sharing, think about that analogy, to know when that contractor or technician is going to be at your home, and tracking that, and also understanding who's coming to your home. More importantly, where the trades are really leveraging technology is there's been a major shift in even how appliances are manufactured. As I mentioned, I was at Samsung for years, and part of that transition was Samsung was driving the Internet of Things, or making things connected. If you look at how refrigerators have changed, as an example, the boards alone in a refrigerator used to be one. There's now up to 6, and there's even devices with an iPad-looking device on the front door. That's where technicians have had to become more smarter about what's going on. But manufacturers are also providing data and fault codes to understand what a device's performance is before you even roll a truck. And so if you imagine, what if I knew about the problem and had a fault code or a diagnostic code as a technician, as a contractor, and I could service you, Mike, better, right? I don't have to come out and diagnose it and then say, hey, Mike, I need a different part. So as you start to understand the behavior of the fault through technology, you can have the right part on the right truck at the right time. And it becomes such a better customer experience. And I don't have to come back to your home and do that. And that's enabled by not only technology, but machine learning, technology that contractors and technicians are saying, hey, I'm solving the same problem. And there are firms and software companies out there saying, hey, we now know what that problem is because you guys have diagnosed it so many times. And so now we're getting into more predictive analytics. And so instead of reactive, we're really moving to proactive repair or proactive replace, right? And those are some massive trends, especially in the trades, that are super exciting, because people that are excited about technology, it's really something that can attract talent into the trades and also create a better customer experience that's ever been there.
Wow. Yeah. And it's funny, you say proactive repairs on things. We're getting into winter here. I'm in North Carolina, so it's starting to get a little cold. Got to get your HVAC, to take care of the air conditioner, right? And the heating unit. And we replaced ours like a year ago. And our guy came in this time, and he came in with a box. And I was like, what's that? And he goes, oh, well, this is going faulty on these units. We're just going to go ahead and replace it, so that way it doesn't do it for you. Like it's been a history for this one. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I've never seen that. Usually people just let it go bad and then they'll replace it. But speaking of that proactive, it happened to me. And I was like, that's actually amazing that you're doing it more proactively now than waiting down the road, because we're at a certain point, and that is where it's historically has shown to be an issue. Which is really, really cool, really interesting. Now, you talked a little bit about this, and I think you talked a little bit about technology, but you also talked a little bit about, the technology that Front Door uses to help contractors better serve customers, run their business, and kind of work through Front Door. So tell me a little bit more about that. Like, what is that it entails? Like, is that a huge savings for the contractor?
Yeah, it's a great question, Mike. So we have a technology that we acquired called Stream. And Stream is an augmented reality, really a platform leading proprietary technology that uses augmented reality to solve these types of problems. So to take the AR and the science behind all that and make it really simple, imagine a contractor technician gets to see what you see. And so without downloading an app, I can invite you, Mike, to a stream, what we call a stream session. And I can use my phone or my desktop, my device as a technician, and you can point me to the problem in your home. And we can use a variety of different tools. So let's go back to your HVAC. And your HVAC is not working correctly, but you as a homeowner, you wouldn't have any idea where to look. As a technician, I can use the video, and whether you choose to show me your face or not, right? I kind of point you, I can use a laser pointer, I can use an augmented reality hand, say, hey, Mike, look right here. Point your phone right at this device, and I can capture make, model, and serial number. Just by having that data alone, I can start to understand your problem a little better. And not to get too geeky, but optical character recognition, manufacturers are now stamping devices with a barcode or QR code or something that tells us a lot of information. If you have a relationship with that OEM or parts supplier, if you can capture that optical character recognition, you can log that data. And now we understand, become a little smarter in a non-creepy way about Mike's home, right? And what you may need at that time. But Stream is really seeing what you see and also creating a better experience for the technician. Techs are adopting that because I can diagnose your problem without ever coming to your home. Not 100% of the time, there still may be something that needs to be there for diagnostics, but that's a really important part of the tool. The other part of Stream that's being adopted is it's a great customer experience right out of the gate. Instead of telling Mike, hey, I'm going to be there in 3 days, I can actually engage with you today. You can initiate a conversation and a session with me, and I can provide my tech with the correct information, the right part, a history of Mike's HVAC problem or other relative information before he rolls the truck, and also capture still pictures and or video that would help that tech and send that to the field service management software that he's using. The other thing that's really cool is the software that techs are using these days, we can embed that Stream technology right into the same application. So you're not going in and out of various platforms. You have a record and a history. And another thing we're seeing a lot of, which is pretty cool, is QA, right? Quality and assurance. Yeah. It protects a contractor, it protects a technician to say, hey, this is the work that was performed. It's running perfectly. And now you've protected yourself this to say, hey, that was fixed correctly. And it also gives the homeowner assurances, right? You know how you can have a record. Hey, that was fixed correctly. And then this is a little more advanced, but it's super cool. Where technology is going, and think of Lowe's, right? And being able to maybe remotely measure flooring and drop in a light. I want to see what hardwood is in my living room, or I want to see what this appliance looks like in my kitchen. That's real, right? And augmented reality is being used today. What would a kitchen remodel look like if I put in a Samsung refrigerator? And what does this appliance look like? And then what type of flooring? And think about a 2D or 3D floor plan that you as a homeowner could have on your own home. And you start to think about your own inventory and how that becomes a valuable asset to you downstream.
Yeah, just thinking about that, because I was sitting here and I was thinking as you're explaining that, I was like, I don't know how many times I've had a technician come up here and be like, all right, let me look at it. And then they got to go get a part, and then they got to come back. And then, back and forth about 2 trips to fix one thing sometimes back in. But that, communication, right? Kind of like we're doing here, virtual, we're talking like with cameras. That just alone to be able to help with talking to the customer for the contractor, and also, once again, the customer experience, because that's what we really care about in the end, right? It doesn't matter whether it's your contractor or your Lowe's or your front door. Like, for all of us, customer experience is where we really want you to thrive in. So this is really innovative for somebody that's a contractor to be able to provide that better customer service, which is just amazing.
And think about the cost savings element, right? If you can reduce truck rolls, one, not only is it great for your cycle time, you're freeing up your schedule. Time is the most precious thing to anyone in the trades. You only have so much time, so many technicians. If you can start to become more productive and you can actually have multiple stream session, reducing truck rolls that save you time on the road, there's a cost savings, a productivity benefit, and anchoring on the customer experience first. So there's so many financial benefits to the trades, and some of the trades that we've seen, what I'd call a super user, they get it, right? They have hired dedicated stream technicians to just do what we're talking about, like we're doing here virtually today with everyone around the world. And they have hired because they see the efficiencies across that technology.
It's crazy. Everybody thinks the trades doesn't have a lot of technology. Thinks the trades are kind of growing behind, but in reality, it's completely changing, and it's growing so fast when it comes to the technology aspects. How do you see technology continue to evolve and change this industry?
Yeah, Lauren's intro to kick this session off was so pointed of what the country is faced with. One, not only the stigma to it, but the thing that I think a lot of people are missing is how much technology is going into the trades, and it's there to adopt, and then think about where it's headed. And so as you think about, whether it's a service member transitioning or a kid out of vocational school or someone just out of high school, what I love about where technology is going, think about what I just talked about with Stream. And if you think about AR and machine learning, think about someone who doesn't know how to repair an HVAC system. Think about how we can educate new tradespeople with virtual reality and training them with a headset. Then take that to the next step. What if there's a heads-up display in the glasses that I'm wearing? What if I can see, looking at the part that I'm looking at using AR, that it will show me the next step on that device? And that's where it's going. It's existed in industrial for a very long time. The economics of scale aren't there, but now over time, that economics of scale has come down. The technology is more affordable. It's now focused more on beyond industrial and commercial. It's focused on the home. And just think about being able to get more techs into the trade of appliances that are becoming really complicated. But what if we can train them, continue to educate them, and even show them where the problem is, instead of what you see in the trades today is, well, I got the wrong tech on the job. Think of how much money that costs you. And you may only have one or two techs that know how to work on that device. What if you can level up your entire technician workforce and give them a tool to be really confident that the repair is done correctly? And those, what we call heads up display, that is really the future of where the trades are going. And it's super innovative.
That's cool. Yeah. And there's one shown in the Generation T video, which first time I ever saw that, I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I got to hang out with Generation T and with Lauren and all of them. And they have some augmented reality that we use for teaching simple things like tiling a wall or trimming hedges. It's just kind of fun to get kids and individuals interested in the skilled trades. But just thinking about that and thinking about the applications that can be there from a training perspective, you see it in the armed services. Like there's technology that they're being used now for ranges that can easily be transferred over to allow us to train more and try to help with that work gap that is happening in the skilled trades. So it's really interesting to hear, we're going to take virtual reality, we're going to put it in the work into visors and in glasses, and it really helps kind of continue that on.
Well, then think about what machine learning can do, right? And we talked about predictive analytics. Think about that, going back to that HVAC system. If you had a pressure sensor, if you had the ability to measure fan speed and runtime, we would know the thresholds of performance. And if your HVAC system and me as your tech that you hire to come out or front door to monitor that, hey, Mike, we see a problem with your home, right? We're going to get to it before you have a catastrophic failure. One, not only saving you money, but also your home stays heated and cooled. And that's really where machine learning and AI comes in to get to that predictive state. And again, really using data in a proactive way that prevents against those high costs. And that's another piece of technology and interconnected world that we live in that's really exciting about machine to machine, how we're using the data in a very positive way to make things better and more productive.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, that's just in my brain. I'm just thinking through like how cool that would be to be able to save yourselves really thousands of dollars because your home is smart enough to tell you, hey, I'm about to break. You might want to call somebody.
Absolutely.
It's really cool. So we do have a question in the chat that I kind of want to just touch on really quick. We've mentioned Stream twice now. Can you just really quickly go over exactly, what Stream is? I know you've talked about it a little bit, but just give it the full, like what Stream is really quick for us, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. So Stream is an augmented reality platform that's really anchored on machine learning, artificial intelligence. As the machine gets smarter, and we train that machine. But in a simplistic approach, think of Stream as an application on your phone or on a desktop that I am literally seeing what you see, and then I can apply augmented reality features to coach someone through an application or problem. I can educate them. Think of a consumer experience that's real today. Lowe's uses Stream. And as you think about what Lowe's is using that for, or any of our customers today, where you can go into an app, a Lowe's app or other of our customers' apps that you can actually press on customer support and get that initiated right from the user. And I think about where Stream is going. And what it can do is what we talked about in dropping objects into your home, but also think about it as, what if when I go to Lowe's, I'm looking for things for my house. I forget what's in there, right? I forget the manufacturer. I forget what I need. And if I can go into my Lowe's app, and I think about this all the time when I'm walking your store, like, what if I could go into my Lowe's app and I could actually go into my home and my profile and see exactly what it is and exactly what I need. And Stream can catalog those products and what you would need there. And I could also launch a session with Lowe's with a technician or an expert, and whether that launches into Lowe's for pros or it launches into just a red vest. Hey, tell me what I need to work on, right? Or tell me how you can help me solve my problem, and taking that service to another level. Stream is also anchored on customer service around anyone that's struggling. Think about like Traeger grills, right? You've heard of that smoker, right? It's a great use case. And if someone's struggling just to put their barbecue together, right, that someone is there and they can walk them through it using augmented reality to point them to the right places and also ensure they're putting it together correctly.
All right, that's game changer, because you know how many times you open a box and the instructions don't like make sense at all, and you're sitting there with a million pieces and you're like, all right, I don't know, but I'm calling somebody. I'm over it.
And imagine the world where you open that box and there's an experience on an app that will walk you through piece by piece with a model, right, on your phone.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. That's absolutely, it's kind of intense, but it's also like really cool just to think that is where we're going, to the simplification of things and being able to actually see everything and kind of get step-by-step instructions. So we did have another question, and it's a good question, because as you kind of, I think, we were both enlisted side, right? And when you're enlisted in the military, what's funny is a lot of people think that you have access to computers and to things all the time, and you're able to check emails or be able to get really savvy with technology, maybe Word or PowerPoint or even any kind of programming. But as an airborne, I know you didn't have that much access to a computer always or every day. So the question is kind of timely. It's what if you're still newer to technology? Is it still possible to still utilize that technology in the trades? Like, how user friendly is it?
I love that question, because you're right. I was infantry light, so if you can't carry it in the rucksack, the old saying, and that is the technology in the military, depending on your MOS, right? That exposure is highly dependent upon your MOS. Mm-hmm. I remember the first time I used Blue Force Tracker. Blue Force Tracker didn't exist in the 90s, right? And when I got to Iraq or in Kuwait, I was like, Blue Force Tracker. And it's a good thing I knew about technology. But, today, I would say the most important thing about technology, if you want to learn it and you want to lean into it, if you have the will, I hire people all the time that have a passion to learn and a will to learn. The ability to learn that of technology and lean into that you can't teach passion and will. I can teach anybody what coding looks like or technology looks like or how to use it. Those are the first two attributes that are most important to anybody. So I wouldn't want anyone on this call or anyone transitioning to be afraid of what technology maybe has passed them up. It hasn't. One, it's more scalable and easier to learn depending on the complexity you're looking for. And what we're talking about here today is I've seen technicians that had no technological capability, right, or even know-how, that have adopted Stream very quickly. I've seen technicians adopt field service management platforms where they are diagnosing with iPads. They are logging data and information in iPads. They are sending text messages on their pre-truck roll, showing me their face and who they are. I had a service call the other day. His name was Jake. He sent me his bio. He, believe it or not, was a Marine vet, which was cool because he was doing an electrical call on my house. So I was super excited. I called him like, Jake, you're a vet. I'm super excited. I got your text. I knew who was coming to my house. And I started talking to him like, Jake, have you ever heard of Stream? He's like, no, tell me about it. Right. And he was just doing a service call in my own home. And we started talking about it. I said, hey, how'd you learn technology? And he said, I got out of the Marine Corps, and, a guy that owned the electrical company in Mammoth Lakes, California, he just took me under his arm and he showed me everything. And I love everything that we're doing. And it was just that will. And it was literally Monday that happened to me, right? This week. And so Jake was just a perfect use case and proof point for me that anybody can adopt this technology. And now Jake is already texting me because he wants to learn more about Stream and how he and the owner of the company can use it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. And we're talking about that. Let's move over to, kind of a little bit of guidance. We talked about the technology piece, but you had unique, well, we'll say transitions, right? We'll say transitions because you had two of them. But what guidance do you have for someone transitioning to improve their career prospects in the skilled trades?
Yeah, I would say an entrepreneurial spirit. Some of the attributes that you've touched on, the things we just touched on around the passion. I think always willing to learn and improve. That's not just the skills. That's across any profession, right? Is that thirst for knowledge, be the best that you can be, and especially in the trades, I think it's opening your mind that what's the art of the possible. And I think the trades are underrated in that you can not maybe have a lucrative career. I have friends in the trades, and I can tell you they're very successful businessmen and women, and they make a great living, not just for their own families, but for all the people they employed, and they make a difference in their communities. And I love how trades are connected to their communities. And I'd say be relentless about focusing on the customer and what kind of experience you deliver. And I think the trades are connected uniquely to people every single day, where other companies may not be, right? And I think that's unique about the trades and the difference you can make.
Yeah, I think you're not the only one that's brought that up. I think we've done quite a few of these, and every single time it comes to that about like the difference you make as a tradesman in the community is quite large, because you are always in the community, and then you'll be at the grocery store, and the person whose house you were at last week may run into you, and then you're creating that sense of community and really helping to kind of strive and move forward, and kind of really build. So we're not seeing any more questions, so I definitely want to say, if you do have one, drop one in. But I really wanted to just have one last real question for you, Brett, and that's really here. You talked a little bit about the entrepreneurial spirit. We've talked a lot about this with a lot of individuals, but how is it that you kind of pushed forward and kind of got over? Because I know that a lot of individuals experience that kind of like a moment, like, do I want to do this? Do I want to go into entrepreneurs, or do I want to take a step back? Do I really want to go out on my own? Like, how did you overcome that as you were transitioning? Because I know that's always a question that I get. Like, I want to do it, but what's on the other end of that wall?
Yeah, I think the unknown is always scary, right? And I think especially this group of professionals that we're talking to tonight, when we signed that dotted line, we took a risk in an unknown, right? We swore an oath to defend our country and protect. There's risk there, I had no idea I'd be in Iraq for almost 2 years of my life. There was risk there. I had no idea I'd be in combat. I think entrepreneurs, I think that's the best part about being a service member, is we're willing to take more risk. You don't lose that. The areas where I've grown the most is when I was the most uncomfortable. And I think being an entrepreneur and having that fire in the belly makes you better. And when there's that little uneasiness, sometimes it motivates me more, because I want to see what's on the other side of that. And I think to be an entrepreneur or in any business, you have to have some element of that. And if you're afraid to risk something or think, what's this look like on the other side, you're not going to know unless you go. And don't be afraid to fail. I tell the people that work for me every day, failure is a good thing. Fail fast, right? And learn faster. And those are great things. And you don't be afraid to fail as an entrepreneur, because that's the beauty of America, right? Some of the best entrepreneurs that we've ever known have failed the first time, the second time, the third time, and then they just nailed it and got it right. And they're some of the most influential people in the business world today.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. I just wanted to touch on that because it's something that always comes about. But we'll go ahead and wrap up. Is there any last words you got, Brett? Anything you want to share with the group before we go ahead and wrap on up here?
Hey, I did see a question in the chat, Mike. I'm not in Mammoth Lakes, California. I'm in Los Angeles, but I do visit Mammoth Lakes a lot. I love skiing. I love the outdoors. I love backpacking, and so do my kids.
Very cool. Explains being a Dodgers fan. Sorry about the loss. No, we appreciate you, Brett. We appreciate you joining us tonight. It's really good to have you here. Let you learn a little bit more about Front Door. I think the trades in general, the technology, conversion together, it's coming together to make a great opportunity for us in the future to be able to really strive forward in the trades, skilled trades industry is really exciting. And I look forward to seeing what Front Door does. I look forward to seeing what all of our transitioning service members and military spouses on our call do as they exit the military. And I'm really excited about that. And let's talk a little bit about how you can stay connected with us. So if Danielle, if you don't mind throwing up that slide for me, we're going to go through 2 slides really quick here. First one is with Lowe's. Maybe you're interested in the skilled trades and you're like, I don't know. I don't really, want to use my GI Bill. I want to save it, whatever it may be. Lowe's actually offers what we call Track to the Trades, and it's a company-funded pre-apprenticeship certification in carpentry, electric, plumbing, HVAC, and appliance repair. You can work part-time or full-time for Lowe's and be able to participate in the Track to the Trades program. It allows you to get your pre-apprenticeship certification in those areas. Great thing is, after that, we will help you find yourself an apprenticeship to be able to move into those skilled trades industries. It's a great program and a great way to get started in the skilled trades. If you're kind of on the edge and you want to learn a little bit more, it's perfect. And then how to get in touch with us, as well as here you go. So here are all of the fantastic contacts. So if next steps, what I'd say is learn more about the trades, jump in the wearegenerationt.com. Take a look in there. Look at the website, be able to take there's a questionnaire on there you can take, a personality test, figure out which trades for you. You can reach out to your USO Pathfinders transition specialist. I highly suggest that. If that support was in when Brett or myself got out and you were able to get a advice a year before plus some more after, like, dear Lord, I would have taken that advantage of that. But I didn't have that at that time. So great program. We as Lowe's are always in contact with our USO Pathfinder contacts across the country. So please reach out to them. They'll be able to help you out. And then if you want to explore opportunities, not only with Lowe's, but also Front Door, you got the websites down there, or the email addresses down there. Militaryrecruiting@Lowe's.com to get a hold of myself or a member of our team to talk about Lowe's opportunities. And then you can see there's William.Heath@frontdoorhomes.com, and he'll be able to help you out with some opportunities at Front Door. Well, without further ado, I appreciate everybody joining. Brett, I appreciate you joining me tonight, and we'll go ahead and turn it back on over to Danielle.
Thank you so much, Mike and Brett. What a fantastic chat today. So Brett, just have to say thank you for your service. Thanks for being here with us today. I learned a lot from your conversation with Mike. So on behalf of everyone joining, just wanted to say thank you. And to all of those joining, thank you again for being with us.